I also thought what we could do, if you wanted to, since this is the first show, is go through, it's our first show, and it's their first show, is go through, I wrote, what I did, my notes I took was in order that they appeared. And so I thought, well, as they came out of limos, and I do have conspiracy theory that I want to drop on you at some point. Good. Because I crunched some numbers, and I'm like, I think what we're looking at is some sort of bias here that is apparent. But anyway, what were your thoughts?
I just kind of wanted to trash talk, just like generally. First of all, I love the idea of the flashcards. I think they're amazing. Okay. And I kind of just want to like just talk about because I've never watched the show, so I think what's really funny is that you are like a fan and I've never seen it.
Oh yeah.
First of all, just basics. I didn't even realize that like Andy, the Bachelorette, had already been on The Bachelor. Like I didn't realize that it was franchised in that way. Like I thought that she was just like they just auditioned her or chose her in some way. So. No. She was on. The only thing I really know about The Bachelor is Juan Pablo.
Which, by the way, was maybe my favorite season ever. I know he had a lot of haters, but I kind of had respect for the dude. Like, I get why they were pissed, but I kind of liked him.
I've heard a lot of. I didn't watch the season, obviously, but I heard a lot of mixed things. I know that he said that there could never be like a gay version of The Bachelor, which I think that like actually is true because. There would be nothing to stop, like, the contestants from hooking up. Like, it would be like, why would there be a Bachelor? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Right, and I think that that's kind of what he meant. And I do think, like, he got hated on because he said sometimes, like, English isn't my first language. Yeah. But in my observation, I think that was kind of legit. Like, because there were sometimes just things that people, like, somebody said something one time, this wasn't exactly it, but, like, the squeaky wheel gets the grease or something.
Yeah.
And he was like, what? They were just different, idioms that he didn't understand. So I do think sometimes he was...
Lost in translation.
There was some of that happened. And that was kind of what I think maybe he was going for, his feel for it, I don't know.
But so she was on the Juan Pablo season. Now, was he on the previous season of The Bachelorette?
Yes.
Oh,
so he was
okay.
So now, actually, what's interesting about him is he's the first like non like I don't know pure Aryan descent bachelor. Like so it's kind of a big deal. I mean, not really. I don't know, but like he was the first. It was kind of a big deal because it was their first foray into any kind of diversity. I mean, they usually have a couple of contestants, who are like off the map a little bit, but it's pretty much European. So, but he was the first Bachelor ever. Usually what they do is it's one of the last three people. Mm-hmm. So it's either like the last one or two that gets bumped off that often ends up being the next Bachelor or Bachelorette. Gotcha. So like Desiree, who was the Bachelorette that Juan Pablo's season was on, she was ousted from a season.
Gotcha.
And there's often, and you'll see as it plays out, sometimes there's, so I think sometimes people are going onto the show to play it to that way. Like they're trying to get just far enough to be the next Bachelor or Bachelorette. So he was on Desiree's season, but what was very unusual about him was he hardly got any airtime at all. But public outcry demanded that he be the next Bachelor because he was so sexy. Like every time he was on the air, like smoke was coming out of my TV. But he hardly got any airtime, and he went out well before you got to the final three. I mean, he went out pretty early, but people were like, "Who is this guy? Get him on there." So it was actually the first time that they had a foray into diversity, but it was also the first time that there was a massive public outcry of this guy.
Gotcha.
None of these other tools. We want him.
So
and then it was very interesting the way that people responded to him then, because I think also there was some lost in translation. I don't think he understood, this is my own personal take, obviously. I don't think he understood the extent to which they owned him.
Oh, okay.
I think it pissed him off.
Interesting.
And that he was not compliant. Because if you read Now Gossip about his season or whatever, you'll see that. So Andy, Andy was one of the final 3 on his season, and she got mad at him because he repeatedly would say, "It's okay." She'd be like, "It's okay. It's okay." Girls would be like flipping out, having major drama. He'd be like, "It's okay." And she was like, "You can't keep saying it's okay. It's not okay." So anyway, that was her claim to fame, was that like she stood up to him and was like, no, and she left the show. But I personally wondered if that was her ploy. Like, I wondered if part of that was by design.
Gotcha.
Because I think she wanted to be the next Bachelorette. And what kills me about it is, like, in this show where she goes, like, "Believe me, guys, it works. From my experience, it works." So I'm like, your experience, it totally does not work. That's fantastic. Anyway, so dumb.
Yeah. But, I don't know. My first impressions of her were pretty... I mean, I thought she was interesting in, like, Atlanta, like, criminal lawyer. I was into that. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a little bit weird that she was like, "Oh, well, I have to, like, leave my job to become the Bachelorette." I was kind of like, it was very, like, Doris Day for me. I was kind of just like, you can probably do both, girl. Like, it's 2014. Like, you don't need to, like, hang up.
I don't know, though. If she was a prosecutor, if she was, like, in the DA's office in Atlanta, they were probably like, "Honey, we don't play with that. You're not coming back." Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to be making out in hot tubs with all these guys? Like, no. You have to resign. She probably tried to play that card first, you know what I'm saying? And they were like, "I don't think so." I mean, because that's an actual professional job.
Yeah, true.
You know, it's not like she's on Law and Order.
Yeah.
She actually is a DA, so I think they probably have, like,
well, I mean, looking for love. I mean, I guess I get it. It's like, I don't know. I feel the thing that interests me, other than obviously the like, you know, clout of, like, the 15 minutes of fame of being on a reality show, like, do these people actually think they're gonna, like, find love? Like, is that a thing? Because, like, they do actually get married on the end, right? It is like a wedding?
Well, okay. So from the outset of the show, by the way, now that you're into this, you will be interested to know that during my years living in New York, that of, like, people of, like, not even B-stars that I've seen so many people from The Bachelor and Bachelorette walking around on the street. Like, this one summer, I saw this one douchebag, like, 3 times, like, in very close succession. Never the only one that I wanted to see, but that's another story. But since its inception, maybe the very first Bachelorette, just this year, renewed her, like, 10-year vows or something. So she's still married to that guy. But there have only been, like, maybe 3 or 4 marriages, and one of the ones that's still going strong was one of the most scandalous, which was where the guy who was the Bachelor proposed to a girl at the end, who ended up being on Dancing with the Stars, so you might recognize her face if you saw her. Melissa Rycroft, I think is her name. Anyway, he proposed to her. He proposed to her on the finale, and it was like, wait, take back, I still can't stop thinking about Molly. And he broke it off with that girl, and he married the other one, the other runner-up from the show, and they're still together. They have children. I mean, it seems to be like he was a single dad. He was the first single dad on the show. Okay. So, but there have only been a few marriages that have actually happened. Most of the time, it seems like mostly people have been like, let's see how this goes. You know, there's like an awkward... and then the few engagements that there have been have broken off. I will tell you this, another interesting factoid that somebody told me at a party once in New York. I was at somebody's birthday party, and I met a guy who worked in reality TV. And he said, the thing that makes The Bachelor and Bachelorette different from any of the other reality TV shows like Survivor or The Amazing Race or whatever is that on all of those shows, whoever wins gets the most money. So, like, the longer you stay, the more money you get, and then the winner gets the most. But what they do apparently on The Bachelor and The Bachelorette that's different is, other than the main person, all of the contestants get the same amount of money. So regardless of whether they go out night 1 or whether they go out at the very end, there's no monetary benefit. Oh. So it makes this construct, I think, mentally. I think the men and the women handle it differently because of gender, you know, blah, 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 think piece stuff, kind of. But, like, I think that adds this layer of, like, it becomes about my worth. I think for the men, it seems to become more about competition, like beating the other guys. Yeah. But for the women, it really becomes like a question of worth, because you're not making more money for you to stay. So it really becomes like, are you worthy to stay? Are you worthy to be here? You know? So yeah, that's another little interesting factoid about how it's set up.
Good to know. Well, listen,
So
my mind is blown. Like, I definitely it took me, like, I had to stop in the middle because it was getting, like, too much. And then I, like, went to sleep and I woke up in the morning and watched the rest of it before work. And yeah, I also, the other thing that I thought was kind of interesting and weird was that I didn't realize that they arrived in batches and that they had, like, weird, like, bro out moments together, like, before they even saw her. And I thought that was, like, I was just like, you know, is it, like, an opportunity to create, like, bonds or, like, allegiances or whatever? Because I was like, why are they, like, already talking to each other? It seemed, like, weird that they were already sizing each other up, like, before they even knew who the Bachelorette was.
Right. Well, that's the other thing, is that when they show up, typically, they only did it one season where they announced ahead of time who the Bachelorette was going to be. But because of how they do filming, they're auditioning these guys or doing their casting while the other season's still on. Because you'll notice when you watch, it'll be like, do you think you're a right fit for the next Bachelor or Bachelorette? So they don't know. So they know it's going to be probably one of the girls or one of the guys that they see, but they don't know. So there was one season where, because she was a real prima donna, they announced it ahead of time so people knew who they were getting. But otherwise, it's like a grab bag of bachelorettes or whatever. So that's why sometimes they'll say, I'm so glad it was you.
Okay.
And there was one season, and this girl's still married to the person, or she's engaged or married to the person that she ended up choosing. But that season, a lot of people were disappointed because there was there was. And they made her cry on numerous occasions. They were like, your boobs are too small. Like, I mean, there was a real mean guy on that season. It was terrible. But anyway, so yeah, they don't know who they're getting. But here's the other thing. Now, I haven't spotted, well, there's one guy that I think maybe. But on Desiree's season, there was one of the guys who made it to the final three. I would have bet big money, and I looked him up online, and it was kind of the talk online that he was gay. And he made it to the final three, so he made it to the overnight dates. But he was an actor, and he was beautiful. I mean, he was an actor and a model, and, like, beautiful. But just everything, I was just like, I really think this guy's gay. And that was all the kind of gossip on the internet. But that season, there was also something, and they clipped it out of this show, but at the Men Tell All, one of the guys, I'm pretty sure, said that one of the guys in the house had sucked another guy's dick while they were in the house. So some of these dudes, because some of them are like music stars or want to be rock stars or whatever, some of them see this as like a PR thing. And that's always a scandal every time. Are you here for the right reasons? And what that really means is, like, are you gay and trying to, like, build your career? Or are you, like, putting this on your resume? You know?
Yeah.
So there's only one guy so far that I'm like,
I mean, that was my first. I can't find my notes. I don't know what I did with them, but definitely I was like, which one of them is gay and which one of them is a serial killer? Because clearly, like, was definitely some, like, really, I felt like aggressive vibes going on. And maybe it's just because I'm not used to like being party or watching like groups of straight men that like I felt very like put upon by, you know what I mean? But
yeah, the dude bro dynamic is really strong.
Yeah, there was a lot of it, and like I couldn't really tell like where, because clearly one woman, regardless of like her like mental strength or whatever, would not be able to take on that much energy. You know what I mean? So it's like, where is all of that sort of like dude bro energy like going? Because like there was a lot of it.
It goes places, I'm telling you. I mean, they're all in the house together, you know, they're all, anyway, those are sometimes some interesting, but that came out at a Men Tell All and they bleeped it out and the whole audience went, and I was like, I'm sure that's the only thing he could have said.
Yeah.
Because he was calling the other guy out, being like, this was on Desiree's season, which is what Juan Pablo emerged from, and then that's how we got Andy.
Yeah.
But it was like this, oh my God, like, why are you saying this about so-and-so when the other night you were, you know, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's what he said. Because it fit, like, that season, I was like, there was one guy that, like, just like his sexual chemistry with her looked like a soap opera. Like, he looked like he was acting. It was so apparent. It just looked too perfect.
Yeah.
You know, like, but anyway, do you want to do first impressions?
Let's do first impressions.
So Limo 1, there was 5 guys in there. So that was Marcus, let's see, Chris, JJ, Markel, and Tassos. Okay, that was Limo 1. I wrote down just one sentence that they said, just to sort of trigger your memory in case you feel like, who? Tassos? Who?
That's the other thing, is that the dude that actually, we'll get to this later, but the dude that actually got the first impression rose, I legitimately could not tell him apart from, like, at least 15 other people.
That's why the flashcards are important, because it's, you hate to say this way because you want to think of yourself as like a politically correct person, but they all run together. They all look alike at the beginning.
Yeah.
There's always like 3 dudes that you're like, until like, week 4, you're like, oh, I thought they were the same person.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're like, so I'll tell you, making the flashcards has helped me a lot. I feel like I'm going to be way more, if it's possible to be more plugged in.
To the Bachelorette franchise.
Okay. So I'll offer you the picture and then a sentence that they said, and then first impression and like a word or 2.
Gotcha.
Okay. So this is Marcus.
Gotcha.
Whoa, sorry. Take some practice. There's Marcus. His first sentence was, I have a lot to give. He's 25, 6'2", sports medicine manager. Go.
Wholesome. I feel like he's a wholesome dude. I feel maybe it's just the fact that like they all have the same like facial configuration, pretty much.
They don't.
But I don't know. He just looks like a typical dude. It's difficult to like.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on this one. I think this one you do not trust. He's got really sparkly eyes, like, and maybe this is the straight thing. This one is trouble.
Trouble. Okay.
Like, I don't think you trust him.
Okay.
Like, 'cause he does this thing with his eyes, like sexy eye voodoo thing. You did it when you came out of the car.
All right.
Okay.
Hit me with another
Next one was
Okay. Chris is my favorite. He's the only one that I remember. First of all, he's the only one I remember that I liked. Like like all the other ones I remember I hated. He's the only one that I remember that I was like, he's giving me like corn-fed. He's giving me Iowa. Yes, he's giving me like family farming enterprise. He's giving
3261.
Perfect. He's giving me like brawny man. Chris is definitely like, I'm into it. He's my favorite so far.
Yeah, I think if I had to say in one word, my first word, and this can change because sometimes I've been surprised, but was sweet. Yeah, sweet.
He seems sweet.
Marcus, I'm going to go, my word for him is charmer. That's right. Just watch out, charmer.
Gotcha.
But Chris, I think, is sweet. Okay, next we had JJ. He's the pantsapreneur.
First of all, I don't know what that means, and I'm not sure if I want to know what that means.
He makes pants.
He makes... It's like a clothing designer? I don't know. Whatever.
Listen, get this. Dude is 6'5", so he needs to make pants. That's probably why I got into it.
I did notice he was. Oh, so my word would be tall. That would be my word.
I'm gonna go with. I don't mean this in a mean way because I think maybe but I'm gonna go with geek, like geeky.
Yeah, totally.
But because pantsapreneur, that's pretty clever.
Yeah.
Okay, now Markel.
Okay.
He's 26.
Okay, first of all, the first one that I thought was going to be the serial killer was the opera guy, because I was like, how weird is this dude? And I was surprised that she kept him, because I was like, he is creepy as hell. However, after the cookie situation, first of all, that photo looks his eyes look a little stalkery in that photo.
He's wearing like a satin, like a smoking jacket, and he has the kerchief and everything.
And he's also wearing like a V-neck t-shirt under it. There's a lot going on. I
think he has chest tattoos too.
Yeah. That Joker smiles a lot. There's a lot going on right now. Okay. My problem with Markel was like threefold. He came out the gate really aggressive. And he was like, none of these guys can touch me in the cookie world. Like, what? I was like, what are you talking about? The tray of cookies was super weird. I mean, I love cookies. If I was Andy, like I would have eaten some cookies for sure. But when he was like, oh, let me find the black and white cookie, I was like rummaging through this like giant tray of cookies.
Plus it looked bad when he pulled it out. I was like, because the icing was trash because it had been under there. I'm like, if that was part of your shtick, like put that cookie up on top.
And
so
it doesn't look so corny to be like, I'm black, you're white. It seemed so overthought. It seemed so overthought and so weird. So that turned me off. And then going to the highlight reel where they showed at the end of the episode, like highlights from the rest of the season, dude was roiding out so hard on like everyone. He was talking about how like, you know, he was going to test everyone's manhood. I was like, Markel is too much. And I was rooting, you know, I'm all about the brown dudes. I was surprised she kept both of them, to be completely honest. And maybe that shows how I don't have the best expectations of everyone sometimes. I thought that at least she's going to get rid of one of the two black people on this show. I thought at least one was definitely going to go. So I'm glad she kept him for that reason at least. But dude, he's definitely, I think he's trouble. I think he's going to be the major source of drama this season.
Okay, so you're gonna say he's trouble. I said cute. I thought he was really one of the cutest guys.
He is cute. Like, I definitely don't have a problem with him like physically, but he was definitely bringing a lot of aggression.
Well,
and I felt like
physical is all I care about. So.
I felt like his aggression was unwarranted. Anyway, moving on.
He also, what I noticed when I've watched it 3 times, was that he didn't make eye contact. Because then I was looking for this steroid effect, and like when he got out of the limo, he was like all over the place, but not looking at her.
He's juicing for sure.
So here's Tassos. He's 30. He's 6 feet. He said, "I love to travel," and he did the whole Paris.
He did the whole Paris thing. I thought he was just again coming on like really strong, like talking a mile a minute, like padlocking shit. I was like, you know what? I'm not. and then actually when he spoke to her in the house, I forget what he said, but he also said something like that was kind of obnoxious. Where I was just like, he seemed. Oh, I remember. It made me seem like she couldn't get a word in edgewise. Like he was very like talking over her and being like blah blah. And I was just like, no, this is not about you. Like this is about her. Like shut up. Just stop talking for a second. And I wasn't surprised that she kept him because he got a lot of airtime. So I expected him to be on. But I was kind of just like. I thought he was being a little, like, over-talky and a little, like, he struck me as one of those guys that's very much, like, wears the pants, you know, in the relationship, you know what I mean? He was very much like, I got this, like, and I was not into that vibe.
Yeah, which I think is probably, hearing you talk, I'm going to say my one word for him is probably, it's not going to come across that way, but insecurity. Because do you know what dude's job is?
No.
He's a wedding event coordinator.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I did make a note of that. Which is
so
weird.
I think he probably felt a little bit like he has to keep it moving because he's got to know. I mean, I would think he's got to know. He can do the math that he's not. I mean, he's not an ugly guy, but he's not by a long shot the most attractive there. Yeah. He's 6 feet, so he's not the tallest. Like the pantsapreneur is all over him in terms of basketball. So, okay, so that was limo 1. Okay, so we're moving on to limo 2. Now, if there's anybody, because I know who this would have been for me, okay? If at any point we get to a dude and you would just been like, get back in the car. Like, watch your head. Yeah. Get back in the car. Like, because I know who I would have done that with, and it's probably not going to be unexpected, but I know who I would have done that with. If we see this person,
there was something for me, but continue.
Okay, so it's coming?
Yeah, they're all coming.
Okay, so this is limo 2. In limo 2, we have Cody, Steven, Rudy, Carl, and Jason. Right. So Cody, he
was a personal trainer, right?
He pushed the limo.
I remember. That was a little bit of a gimmick. I mean, I get it. Dude is like a personal trainer. I think he's kind of cute, to be honest. I know he looks weird, but I like guys that look like weird animals. Like, I do. Clearly. I like guys that look like cavemen. I like guys that have the missing evolutionary link.
Okay, I'm into that. Yeah.
So like I was kind of like, oh, he's kind of a little. I was kind of thought he was a little cute. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. All right. I think he's a douchebag. Like
no, he's totally a douchebag.
He's stupid. Like, but you know what? Maybe I'm biased, right?
Yeah.
Like I might be like. Weird animal guy looking bias or something.
I mean,
he's too tame. I guess maybe I should say instead of stupid, I should say shallow.
Yeah.
Like shallow, which to me often equates as the same thing. Like not very much depth. You're not going to have a lot of conversation with this dude.
No. I mean, I kind of also like the whole like just like dumb jock as like a sexual fantasy. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of Dumb jock animal, basically. Is what
Take a good look at that. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So next up we have Steven. And one of Steven's, one of Cody's first statements was almost there because he was pushing the limo. Steven's first statement, one of his first statements was, "I'm stoked to be here." He's 30, he's 5'11".
No. Okay, here's if you, speaking of conspiracy theories, if you didn't notice, there was definitely, all of the guys that went home all had the worst hair. Like, literally, like, there was a lot of, like, man bobs, a lot of, like...
But not both man bobs went home.
That's what I'm saying. Everyone that had shitty hair went home. And I gotta say, like, you know, the whole, like, I'm stoked, rad, like, fucking gnarly snowboard shit stops at, like, 24, 25. Like, after that, you can't...
He's 30. Okay.
I know. And also, when your hair grows to your ears, figure something out. That's all I'm saying. Like, just figure out something.
Like me.
No, if you're a woman, that's different. But if you're like listen, if you're giving me, like, lumberjack, Viking, like, I do not hate on guys with long hair. I think that could be totally hot. However, like, there was some bad choices during of this crop of young men, and he was definitely one of them.
Okay. All right, so next up we have Rudy, the attorney. He's 31. He said, I'm going to go with a little attorney humor, and then he did his little contract thing. Yeah. He's 5'10". He was, the shortest, I believe, of the contestants.
Damn.
Which you think, anyway, we'll talk about that later. Right. So, first impression of Rudy.
I mean, I thought he was fine. I was not, like, that into it, but I thought, like, the attorney contract thing looked like a little girl had made it. Like, it was, like, pink, it had, like, hearts on it. I was like, this is weird. So I would say, I would honestly, and I don't mean to be mean to these guys, like, I'm sure they're, like, wonderful people. I would have to say awkward would be the first thing. Awkward. My impression, and I've watched it, you know, again a couple more times, is that he's nice. He's too nice. Yeah.
He described himself on his bio here. He describes himself as hardworking, happy, and honest. And I'm just like, that is not what the show is looking for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, bring some angst, you know, like
some
gravitas.
Like
so, okay. So this is Carl. He's 30. He said, hi, Andy. That's all I had for him. He's the one who gave her, I realized, he gave her like a glass world.
Like a globe. Yeah. See, now we're moving into where it all just comes to like a Caucasian blur. Where I'm just like, you all have the same hair, you all have the same smile, you all have the same like 5 o'clock shadow. I don't know.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to tell you about him. I totally agree with you, and I was really hating on him for wearing this hoodie and this promo shot. I was just like, dude, could you not wear a shirt? But I will tell you that when I watched it back, here's what I'm going to say now. Sleeper. This one right here. Okay. I think there's something there because I totally from this photo, same as you, I'm like, who? I dismissed him, didn't really remember on the show, but when I watched it again, I was like, I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised if there's more to him than we... Oh, this is unfortunate. Okay.
Yeah, see, no.
Jason, 35, 6 feet tall.
Literally, he would definitely be, and I feel bad. Like, I'm sure the guy seemed like a nice guy. He seemed like a totally...
He's a doctor.
Sweet person. You know? He's a doctor. I'm sure he's smart. Like, get back in the limo. Just, like, don't even, just, like, turn around, dude. Like, what? It's like, again, giving me the long hair can be cute. Like, you can pull that off. Especially if you have, like, the blonde sort of, like, thing going on. But this, like, tucked behind the ears, like, soccer mom.
It's too manicured.
It's bad. It was bad. Yeah. And, like, you know, I hate to be that shallow, but, like, it was a problem for me. I could not get past it.
Yeah, my word I'm going to go with is unfortunate. And the thing that I thought was really sad about this dude. Now, here's another factoid about The Bachelor and Bachelorette. Somebody else told me this who was in the know. Is that when they film, anytime they film a rose ceremony, they keep them all up all night and they have an open bar.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so a lot of times people are like not in the best shape of their life when they do that interview, and that is by design. I mean, they're exhausted if nothing else because they keep them up all night.
Yeah.
But and you heard the one guy say when he got the first impression rose, he said, "I would say something about today, but it's tomorrow already."
Oh, right.
I don't know if you caught that. That's why they keep them up all night while they do that filming. I think to maximize potential for meltdown. But what he said was, "I'm going back to nothing." And I'm like, he said, "I'm not going back to very much." And I was like, dude, you are a doctor.
Yeah.
You were 6 feet tall. You know, some of his musical choices are unfortunate, but he does like Led Zeppelin, and I guess that's something.
Just get your ass to Supercuts, and we're good.
So that was sad. So that's all of Limo 2.
Right.
So now we're into Limo 3. Okay. So here's Nick V.
Again, I can't
First impression Rose. This is him.
That's it. See? It's like I literally would not even be able to tell you that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me tell you, I've watched it now, like I said, a couple times, and I did not, same thing, out of the woodwork, like, who is this guy? But when I watched it back, she had serious chemistry with him. She had serious chemistry with him. She was like looking him up and down. He had on a polka dot tie, and she was like, "Look at you in those polka dots. You can wear a suit." Like, she didn't check out anybody else like that. Now, that could have been because she was too shy, because some of those dudes were like uber hot, and they're the kinds of ones that you don't want to look directly at because like it'll burn your eyeballs out. But in terms of like visible chemistry, now again, this is perhaps editing, but
yeah.
That's my word for him. Like, for whatever reason, and he also seemed sweet.
Yeah, he seemed like
genuine
a nice guy. But it's just like, you know, when I guess maybe it's just the spoils of riches of my New York love life. But I just look for like I need some sort of like spark. I need something going on than just like, you know, a haircut and like, you know, a button down. Like, I need something going on. But, you know, he got the first impression rose. Good for him. He did. Next in that limo, Dylan, who said, "Let me get some space." He was the one who backed up from her and said, "Give me some space. I got to warm up to you." Yeah, I think he was playing it kind of standoffish, and I can't remember if he stayed or not. Was he eliminated? Yes, he's still there. He's probably one of the better looking guys. He's 5'11", but you're so hung up on height. Is it? Well, I guess it's because you're short. Well, we will discuss it. Okay. He's 26, but yeah, I don't know. I looked it back and I was like, I couldn't tell if it was like, is he legit shy or is he like, is it like a defense mechanism? Or I couldn't really get a read on that. He's giving me hunky. He's very like, sort of like, that whole like, he's giving me hunk for sure. Yeah, he's probably, in terms of like the classics, you know, hunk sort of thing. Okay, next up we have Patrick. Okay. What's his deal? Okay, well, I'll tell you what his deal is. I'm going to skip ahead to limo 5, the last limo of the night, and show you this D-bag. Right. Okay? These two were the ones that were like, let's see. He's like, I'm sizing up the guys downstairs and looking at the gamut. He said the gamut of dudes. That was the actual phrase. That's what I'm talking about. So bro-y. The gamut of dudes? He said, the gamut of dudes. He said, it's not intimidating. But he said about Patrick, that Patrick dresses well, is suave. We have a lot in common. I think we have a lot in common. I remember that. And then Patrick said about Andrew, who I'm just going to call it right now, this one's going to be where your drama comes from. I know I'm letting that cat out of the bag early, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. But he's the one, Patrick said about Andrew that they're on a different level from the other guys. Right, I remember that. They're on a different level. Because they race cars, Formula One. There's some fan of some Lewis Hamilton I've never heard of. Oh, and Patrick said he's my caliber guy. Right. That's where I was like, huh, so like, are they spending so much time together that they are like forming bonds independently of the Bachelorette? Because it seemed like they were being like very like, oh, you're cool.
Yes,
And I was like,
and
is
that
that
is
normal?
part of the design of the show.
Okay.
Is that they apparently? I just read this about the Bachelor, which was that it was an article about who does the girls' hair, and the answer is somebody there has to do their hair. Which I wonder if why we have a hairstylist this time around, because they can't go, they don't let them go anywhere. They don't let them go to the gym. One of the girls said that they barely put, like, they sometimes just leave a few nuts and berries in the kitchen in the morning because they don't want them getting fat, because they don't let them work out and stuff. Sorry, I'm getting like this weird.
Give me a lens flare. There you
go. So anyway, I think they spend a ton of time together, which ramps up the drama for the show, because, you know, they're all competing for the same person, and they can't see anybody but each other, and they can't go anywhere. So it's like, you know, I'm just going to try something different here. No, that's terrible. Okay, this is pretty good. Yeah. We have a problem here. Amel.
Okay, Amel. I was into it from the photo, because he's giving me the square jaw. He's giving me the butt chin. I was into it. I was like, you're very attractive. I was into it. However, I've never watched this show, but I wouldn't be surprised if that wasn't the worst first introduction of all time. And I was like, bitch, you're going home. Like, it was bad. It was bad. Yes. We didn't see him again. And I was kind of bummed, because I was like, oh, he's like, I'm into it. I was like, he's hot, you know? Yeah. But like, yikes.
Yeah, if you use the word anal the first time you meet someone, I mean, unless it's a very specific dating ad that you're answering, I think that's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, Brett. This is the hairstylist.
That's the hairstylist. I mean, not to be stereotypical, but just because of his profession, I was inclined to say that he was the gay one. But now I think there might be something between, like, Andrew and Patrick, to be honest. Like, I was getting some very, like, mask for mask vibes from them. But
I'll tell you, this dude to me is like Williamsburg all over the place. Totally. Like, he's very, like, I think he's hot and like that, like, very urban kind of. And I'm like, if he's a hairstylist, bring it, because that stuff is expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's the one that brought the lamp, right? That, like, stole the lamp from the hotel.
Yeah, but I think he's one of the cutest ones, and he has good style, because I tend to like a less thick, you know, dude. So yeah.
Not I, but that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the end of Limo 3. Limo 4. Okay, we're coming up on somebody that I would have said, watch your head. Okay, and I'm also just going to say, I think Andrew is going to be one of your major key players in terms of drama. He's going to stir that stuff up for everybody. But this guy is going to just be drama unto himself, because I think he's an alcoholic.
Yeah,
Craig.
Okay, I knew you were gonna bring up Craig. Definitely, he seemed like he could potentially be a fun time, but that he may have the mind of a child, or some sort of developmental disability that we don't know about.
Like, to me, I wondered if dude was gay, honestly.
I didn't get that vibe, but it's it's a possibility.
Watch it again on demand when he gets out. The way he greets her, like he sprays the champagne. He sprayed
the champagne, yeah.
I don't know.
You know what? I'm gonna give him a shot. Hey,
good.
I thought the champagne was cute. I think that he is just. He strikes me as someone who is, like, really intensely immature, which isn't a turn on. But if he can, like, start a hot tub party, more power to you, Craig. Let's see.
Yeah,
let's see how
I'm
far.
Sure he can.
Let's see how far you can get.
So next up, we have this one of my favorites in terms of personality, like somebody I would like to be my friend.
Yeah,
Ron.
Ron seemed cool.
I mean, Asheville for one.
Represent.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And then he's got the Barbados and Israel thing going on, like in terms of like his. But he also just seemed he likes The Weeknd and Frank Ocean. That's some of his music that he likes. 6'1".
He seemed cool.
Yeah, I think he's quality.
I'm definitely in it for the win. Again, I'm down with the brown dudes. I'm, like, representing. I think that he was cute. I think he was, like, charming. I was a fan of Ron.
Yeah, I think he's a quality guy. Like, I don't think he's going to make it very long with her, because he's also, I think probably physically he's not gonna hang with the other guys in her book, just based on who she's already identified as like her type, and also just I guess traditional types or whatever. But I think he's really like a quality guy. Next in Limo 4, we have Bradley,
Bradley,
the opera singer.
Oh God, yeah, I think opera's cool. I'm a creative guy, but when he just like busted out like a note in the middle of the room, I was like, that's weird. And he just seemed he just seemed like very intense and not in a great way. I was not a fan of Bradley.
Okay, I just noticed that Spaceballs is one of his favorite movies. That's funny. Yeah. He's 32. He's 6'3". He's pretty tall. Okay, next up. Now, this dude, I was surprised he went home. So, Josh B.
Yeah.
But you could tell, actually, when he went home, he was a bit hammered. I think he drank too much. Because in his interview, he had, like, had too much to drink. And I was like, that was the up all night, like, drinking too much thing.
Yeah.
But I was kind of surprised he went home because he was one of the nicer, cuter guys.
Yeah, he seemed cute. He seemed nice. He seemed like he got it together. Again, I wasn't like blown away. But yeah, I was kind of surprised that I feel like she could have definitely let loose a couple of the ones that she kept and like kept him.
So that was Limo 4. Then we have this guy who rode up in a golf cart.
Right. Here's the thing. Again, with my like bizarre taste in men, I love me some like male paddleballness. So I was into it. I was into like the Widow's Peak Male paddleballness. I think that shit is cute. He's a pro golfer, which is kind of an interesting job. He's not super attractive, but I would have kept him around.
I think this guy's a pervert. That's my first impression.
All right.
Okay, so we're down to the last limo, Limo 5. Okay, so we have Brian, basketball coach.
Yeah, again, not seeing a lot here. I don't know. I remember nothing about that dude.
Well, I think he's probably a really good guy.
Okay.
He coaches, just so you know. Okay. As we already spoke about, this douchebag.
Trouble.
Yeah.
Trouble with a capital T. Moving on.
Yep. Okay. Rest in peace.
I know. Okay. Honestly.
And
he was one of the best ones.
Really, truly.
I thought the dolls were like super cute that he like offered her at the beginning. I thought I was actually pretty sad, and I was wondering if he was going to make it to the top 3, which would be even sadder. But I honestly think he might, because he was like...
The one reason why I think he won't, because I had that same thought too, is because he's traveling the world.
All right.
And that's not good boyfriend potential. Unless you can want to go with him.
Yeah. Which he seemed like interested in doing.
Here we're coming if I had my one pick for like, watch your head, get back in the car.
Oh, yeah.
He's too hot. Like, this guy will be boning every single one of your girlfriends. Do not trust.
Really? I don't know.
I could be, I'm probably just insecure and would never believe that somebody that attractive, that classically attractive would be into me.
He does kind of look like a cartoon version of like what an attractive man would look like. Right.
And his occupation is former. I mean, anytime your occupation starts with former, but like former professional baseball, like what are you doing now?
Yeah.
Probably just every single girl you know. So I think I would have like tried to like, because once that one worms its way in, literally, you're gonna have it. Okay, and then the last. Somehow I got these dudes out of order because Josh M was the last guy that they showed us.
Yeah.
But
Here we are again.
Fabia.
Oh,
this is Mike.
It's just like he and the other dude.
He's still around though.
No, he left. Did she keep him?
Yeah, he's still there. You're getting him. I'm afraid. I'm sorry. I regret to inform you that you were getting Mike and Jason mixed up.
They're both so unfortunate looking. I don't know. I really thought that she had kicked off all the guys with terrible hair. That's what that was. That was my impression.
Which brings me to, so I'm going to ask you in a moment to name the people that you would have eliminated.
Okay.
But I want to just point something out. So, as you already noted, in terms of diversity, the show has a problem. And this is actually one of their more diverse shows, right? They have 25 guys and they have 2 brown people.
Yeah.
But what I noticed was, as I was looking at the math, is that you have 25 dudes, only 6 of them are under 6 feet tall. Mm-hmm. Okay? And the shortest guy we had was Rudy. He's 5'10". So what about all the nice 5'8" guys who apply? They're not making it. But they also, of the 4 that were eliminated, 3 of those dudes were under 5 feet tall, and 1 of them was 6 feet tall. So they're getting rid of short people first. So I think that's the bigger problem. And the way that they rolled them out. So Limo 1 had all dudes well above 6 feet. Limo 2, for whatever reason, they slapped 3 short guys in there. So 3 of the 5 are short. Limo 3, they put 2, they roll out the next 2 short guys. And then I believe, in my opinion, this is why Josh B went home. Because he's 5'11", and they put him in a limo with 2 dudes who are 6'1", a guy who's 6'3". So, of course, he looked like the runt.
Oh, right. I see what you mean.
So I think they were setting this guy up to go. Anyway.
Interesting.
So I just, yeah, that's my thought about that, is there's some kind of stacked bias against guys who are under 6 feet tall, which I have myself. I like tall guys. Who would you give the first impression rose to?
I mean, again, the one guy that, definitely made a lasting impact on me was Chris from Iowa. He, again, was, giving me the whole, I'm a farmer's boy guy, and I'm super into that. And I thought he was sweet. So, yeah, I feel like it would have been him. Yeah, I feel like if I were her, I would have definitely been, there we go. There we go. He's giving me eyebrow game, everything.
He definitely was keeper. Of course, for her, I think she made the right choice based on watching it again. For one, she gave it to somebody who his response to it was, maybe she felt sorry for me.
Yeah. Which
means he's not going to stir up a lot of drama, because usually whoever gets the first impression rose ends up getting a huge head and being I know I got this in the bag and stuff. But I kind of thought maybe I would get the first impression rose. On this is third watch. It's not who I think is the most attractive, but who I think it might be fun to hang out with.
Really?
The Snow. I don't know. I mean, I don't think he's the most attractive, but no. I know who I'm giving the first impression.
No takes backsies. Yeah, you gotta give it up to Ron.
I would be good friends with Ron. I think he's a quality guy and interesting. Is there any one of these guys that you personally would want to marry?
No.
No. Okay. Who do you think is the hottest? Just hands down hottest.
I'm still Team Chris. I think he's super hot.
Yeah, I think that Josh M is the hottest, and that's why he has to go home. Because, yes.
Why deny yourself the pleasure, though?
No, because I'm just going to, well, you're right. But I think I'm just going to get heartbroken with that one. Huh. Who would you have sent home on night 1?
I forget how many.
So actually, we should pull out who she eliminated so that we're clear. So she eliminated Jason, Rudy, Emil, and Josh B. Where did I put him? Josh B. So she eliminated Jason.
Right. I would have eliminated him for sure.
Josh B.
Yeah.
Rudy.
Yeah.
And Emil.
Yeah, okay. I would have kept Emil, gotten rid of Opera Man, kept Josh B., gotten rid of other long-haired dude.
Okay, I think I would have kept Emil, Rudy, because Rudy was a really nice guy. Yeah. And at least, he's harmless. I think I would have kept Emil, Rudy, and Jason. I would have ditched Craig, would have had to get back in the limo immediately. Josh M.
Because he's too hot.
I might have kept Jason because he's a doctor, but I don't know. I don't know that much about how he's gonna. But yeah, I would have eliminated Josh M. I probably wouldn't have eliminated Josh M. But let's just say my better self is acting. I would have eliminated. Oh, this guy,
Oh, right. Animal
I would
guy.
have eliminated him. And I think maybe
Yeah.
Costa.
Actually, I would have eliminated him too.
So I think my choices are Cody. I'm gonna keep Josh in. No, I need to get rid of him.
I just realized this is like playing. What's that game like Dream Phone?
Yeah,
That's what we're doing right now.
Time to think about it in the decision booth.
We're like playing Mall Madness.
Yeah. Okay. So final question is, who do you see from this first episode? Who do you see making it to the final 3, the overnight dates?
I mean, honestly, I think that like Eric would make it, even though that's kind of a bummer because he sadly passed. But I feel like him, maybe the guy that got the first impression rose, just because they seem to have chemistry.
Yeah.
And
although that's often, I will just tell you, they throw up a lot of. They produce the show in such a way that you can't. They try to make it so you can't figure out.
Okay.
And also, I think the whoever's the Bachelor and the Bachelorette, they do things intentionally. Like they often don't give the rose to the person that's their favorite.
Okay.
Like I think this was a strategic decision on her part because she's picking a guy that she knows is less attractive. She even says that. Like he's not normally my type, but
yeah. So I would say, and maybe, I don't know who the third.
Well, I'm just gonna say I think Chris.
Yeah, I think Chris.
For her, I think Josh M, and I think Marcus for the final 3. Maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he's gonna go out a little earlier.
Yeah.
But not through any fault of his own. No,
all right.
So.
Good chat.
So tomorrow the episode airs again. So. We'll be ready this time. I have my supplies and everything.
I'll be on top of it. I'll be taking notes. Cool.
All right.
All right. Have fun at the fireworks.
Okay.
All right.
Love
I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.